What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with my own personal teams versus Treasure Map Kid. I know that a lot of people are interested to see what type of teams I'm personally building for this event, so that's what we're doing in this video. I'm going to break through everything that I'm going to be doing, so let's just jump straight into it. You guys already know the boosted list. Most people know what to expect in terms of the boss fights, so let's jump into it. Now, in terms of my personal teams, not everyone is going to think my teams are the most effective or the most efficient because it depends on how you want to play. I personally prefer clearing content as fast as I can, which is why I will opt to use lower point boosters for the battle rush bosses, but for the final bosses I definitely prefer to, just inject my highest point boosters that I possibly can. In this team example here versus Chopper, he doesn't have that much health at all, and he only gives you special bind, which is why I have Hody Jones on the team. And then with Hody Jones using his health cut to get rid of the special bind with double NL special, it's not going to be a problem for a pretty long time, and that's why I've also got the Akanu Kizaru and also the Sengoku unit on the team, because they're relatively high point boosters. I can chuck them on there anyway, and then Germa's just another unit I can chuck on as a sub, so that if I do need to do attacks, their special will give me a pretty good damage output there. So nothing really too much to say about this boss. There's only special bind I have to deal with, which is why Hody Jones is here, and then NL as the captain can just wave clear all the stages before that. So that's basically why it's built this way, just for speed. Now, in terms of a non-optimal team, this is what I'm going through with this next one here with Hyogoro. Now, a lot of people might think this is a very strange team, and I definitely would agree. This is a very, very obscure team, but I am using Kaido as the captain because it's just going to allow me to speed farm the content a lot easier, because you can use their end of turn damage to just wave clear all the stages. They give -2 cooldown at the start, so our boosters will be ready. We don't really need Kaido's special to be ready. That's not a problem. As long as our boosters are ready to go, that is the important thing. Now, one thing that I kind of screwed up on in my initial video about the treasure map is that this guy actually, he will change into either Dex or Int, so that is an actual problem. I might change this team around in terms of the units that are going to be on here. Sweet Commanders is still a pretty good unit, but they only boost the attack of strength units, so that actually is kind of annoying. But with this team though, we've got color affinity with Jinbei, who boosts the color affinity of strength, sign int. We've got the Sweet Commanders for attack boost, color affinity, chain boost. We've got Ace for an orb boost. We've got the what's his face, X Drake gives adjacent slots matching as well. So like lots of really, really good boosters here. So I don't think this is going to be a problem moving forward, but I might want to change some of the units just so I can deal with both colors depending on what he changes into. But that's basically all I really need, right? Because what else does he really do? He changes into either Dex or Int. We get 5 turns of Despair. X Drake also removes some of that Despair as well. You can use Jinbei as the captain if you run double Jinbei. As a captain, Jinbei removes 1 turn of Despair. So with sockets plus double Jinbei removes all turns of Despair. So that's why he's considered a recommended character, which I was a bit obscured about in the initial video about this treasure map. I wasn't too sure why he was boosted in the first place, but looking back at it, it does make a lot of sense. So this is the team I'm running, as I said, not really optimal in terms of points, but in terms of speed, definitely is going to be really, really good moving forward. So now we move on to Okiku. Now, Okiku is a little bit of a difficult fight. So with this fight, I'm using Big Mom as my captain, as you guys would have seen, versus Big Mom, because this boss is actually a Psy boss, and I am going to be using a predominantly int-based team. So with this one, we get 1 turn of special reverse, we get 3 turns of defense to the enemy, 3 turns of resilience, and that's how we're doing. So I'm using King to give us the special reverse. All of our powerhouse characters will get some cooldown. We use the Queen character to get rid of the increased defense, and it also gives us a 3 times chain lock. Big Mom for an attack boost, of course. King also gives adjacent slots matching, so our int characters are going to getting a matching slot. We've got the Neptune as well to get rid of resilience, and then Zorodura is just a filler unit here to enable me to wave clear some of the stages just to get through it a bit quicker. But that's basically it. Nothing really too crazy to talk about. We've got all the applicable units to get around the debuffs that we have to get around, and in terms of damage output, that also should not be a problem with this team at all. So that's my team against Okiku. Again, as I said, pretty straightforward. Just as long as you got the utility units. If you pulled for the units, you're not going to really have a problem, but that's pretty much everything in this game, right? If you pull for the units, it's not going to be that difficult. Let's move on to the final battle rush boss, which is against Kamazo. So Kamazo is also a Psy boss, and we are also running an int-based team, so we preemptively will get given strength, dex, and quick slots, 5 turn paralysis, 5 turn of bind. So with this team here, we've got the Mihawk captain with his super type special. We'll get a full board of slots. slots. With his captain effect, we remove the paralysis as well. Now, the bind that gets inflicted to our top row, it is 5 turns of bind. So with sockets, it goes down to 2 turns. The Shinobu and Nami special will remove the additional 2 turns. So with Mihawk and Shinobu, that's basically all we need. So as long as we've got a unit that can proc the Mihawk super type, that's all we really need, right? So we've got the Shanks on this team, but Shanks could be replaced. We've got Law on this team, who also could be replaced if we need be, but, you know, the units are just kind of just in there just because they're there. But in terms of increasing the speed of this team, I think Shanks would definitely be replaced with another unit. As for what that unit would be, I'm not too sure yet, but that could definitely happen in terms of giving me more speed for this content for sure. Maybe like could still run Kizuna Kid if I really wanted to. That could definitely help speed up the process, even though he's not a boosted unit. Could definitely be a viable option. So that, you know, as long as you got, you know, the super type Mihawk and we got the Nami Shinobu as a sub, that's going to help us get around all of the debuffs there, which is great. Now moving on to the final actual boss against Kid. Now of course I did do pulls on the treasure map. If you guys haven't seen my pulls yet, I advise doing so. But with this boss, you know, definitely having the point boosters, Kaido versus Big Mom is the most ideal. So preemptively on stage 4, we get given block orbs, 4 turns burn, 4 turn damage reduction. So the Arena Kamazo, the Dex Arena Kamazo is really good. He removes the burn, he removes the damage reduction, and for block orb removal, we can use the Kaido special, which is great. And on the final stage, we get given block orbs once again, and I'll talk about how we're getting rid of that. Then we've got 5 turns of attack down, 3 turns of chain coefficient reduction, and that's it, right? So in terms of removing the second set of block orbs, I have Brule support attached to Luffy Taro, so when we reach the final boss stage, any block orbs on our team are changed into matching, which is very, very good. In terms of getting rid of attack down, we've got Rev Recruit Jack, and then for the chain coefficient reduction, we're going to be using the Dobon, the point booster, to give us the 2.75 times chain lock, and he also removes those chain debuffs as well, which is good. Kamazo, and also with the Kaido as well as the captain. So for this team, I'm going to be using Luffy Taro as a friend captain to give me the most points possible. And that's basically it. That's how this team is going to be working. And now we're going to talk about the final boss, or the intrusion battle boss, which is versus Raizo. This one is a little bit more finicky, and I think a lot of people will struggle, but you want to be building a strength and int team here because they get -10 cooldown at the start of the quest. Stage 2 is against Kinemon, who is a Dex unit, gives you recovery in tandem slots, and then for 5 turns, he's going to bind your top row, 5 turns of blindness, and 5 turns of special bind. All very, very annoying to deal with. So the way that we're getting rid of those, the remove SFX and the blindness is going to be removed by King, and then the bind is going to be removed by one of the Luffy specials as well. So that will remove the bind for us, which is great. And then the final boss, which is against Raizo, who is a Psy unit. So it's Kinemon, who's Dex on stage 2, Raizo, who is Psy on stage 3, is going to give us recovery tandem slots again. We get given the chain locking effect, but Dobon special will change that into giving us a 2.75 chain lock instead, because he removes it, then applies the new one. He has a barrier, which is fine. We're just going to attack through the barrier, and then the threshold as well is going to be removed by the Perispera support attached to Big Mom. Whenever the enemy applies a threshold, he removes 2 turns of it, and then X Drake special will give the adjacent slots matching and remove the additional 3 turns of damage threshold. I believe he removes damage threshold. I will double check that, but I'm almost 100% certain he does. Yeah, he does. So he moves it by 3, Perispera moves it by the additional 2, it equals 5. And that's how we're getting through it. And once again, using Luffy Taro as the friend captain to give us the highest point boost possible for this team. And that's basically it. You know, in the reserve, I've got double Luffy Taro to try and get as many of them as I can, so that I can build those teams that I need to build. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, look, you can see with this team here as well, I do have the support of Shiki attached to Rev Recruit King, which, if you guys don't know what that does, it says that on the final boss stage, I get a 1.3 attack boost to my driven units. Now remember that the final boss is a Psy unit, so predominantly want to be building an int team. So another thing that I could do is I could replace X Drake on this team with the free-to-play Otama that just came out to get rid of Threshold, and also being a Psy unit, I believe is also a fighter unit as well. So Luffy's captain effect will actually boost Otama on this team, so that is actually something that I might do, replacing the X Drake with Otama. Yeah, that actually might be something I might want to think about, because it'll give me more damage against the final boss, against Raizo. So yeah, could definitely do that, but at the moment I don't think I will change his team. But you know, I'll see how it plays out, and that goes with any of these teams. I'm going to see how it plays out. If any of them need a little bit of changing, I can do that. I might add a unit on this team against Kamazo to increase the speed just a little bit, so I don't have to do as many normal attacks, but we'll have to wait and see how we go. But overall, I'm pretty impressed, and I'm kind of lucky that I was, you know, lucky enough to even get this Luffy Taro in the first place. This unit is really, really nice to have, so I'm very, very blessed to have this unit. But I'm looking forward to this treasure map and seeing how it goes, see what kind of rewards we get. But that is going to conclude this video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.